Look at that, there's a hole in my roof. So this is the Mercedes-Benz part number. You can look it up here. Locally here it was around 40 or 45 euros for one. And this is not a direct replacement, but it's a replacement that works. You have to shorten it and cut the slider piece off and make some new metal connectors to hold in the Mazda slider. So we'll be going from this dirty piece to this nice piece over here. This has been cleaned and greased up. This side was originally a lot worse than that side, because this was the side that was actually stuck. I tested it out and tried it on this side first, and now I'll just document the other side so other people can use this video as a reference. I already removed the guide tubes and the motor for easier access, and it also has to be removed so you'll be able to slide the slider out. So first up, we'll be removing these two screws to remove the end stop. No, you also have to loosen up the track, or actually lift it up. Yep. And now you can lift. You can actually take the track out entirely. So take out the end stop. Right, these two also have to be removed. Remove the spring, and now you actually have the entire slider assembly. Ooh, shit. That's not that great. And now this thing wants to fall apart, so take note on how it goes together or how it's assembled. You have this piece that's connected to the bracket of the roof panel, and then this slider that's actually connected to the wire that gets pulled by the motor. So let's put this aside for a second. And then you also have this one. There you go. So now you can just give this a real thorough clean. I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. I did this as well with the other side, and it came out pretty good. So basically, to replace this old Mazda wire with the Mercedes wire, you cut. This is actually a metal piece. Let's just maybe clean it off a bit. So as you can see, you have this plastic piece here, and then this metal piece. These are some metal crimpers that connect onto the wire. Cut it here, then you can remove the wire, and then I'll show you in a bit. You cut off the Mercedes slider, remove remove 2 layers of the outer wire, and then you're left with the inner wire, and that inner wire slides in this track, and you make new metal connectors or new metal crimpers, and then you can just crimp this on, and it actually worked on that side. So. So as you saw, we cut off the excess part here for the Mercedes sunroof carriage. And now for the most tedious part is to unwind the outer skin of the wire. So it has to look like this. This was my test piece. So you have this thicker wire This is used as a thread for the gears to engage. And then underneath that, you can see it here, is another layer of steel wire. So it basically has this thick one and then a thinner wire underneath that. But we also have to remove that one until we get to this part. So it's a tedious part. The best way I found was to take a Dremel and then cut alongside here, flip it 180 degrees, cut the other side so you get the thicker wire out, and then do the same but very carefully for the other wires, or if you can, unwind it. If you can find a starting point, unwind it. This is also a possibility. It's a very tedious part, but it's a necessary one. So grab yourself some coffee and get to it. So that was the easy part. Cut out the outer wire, and now, not sure if the camera will pick this up, but this is still an outer layer, and also this one has to go until we can slide the Mazda carriage onto the Mercedes wire. So one way is to try and take one wire and then unwind it, but as I've cut into some wires, which is fine, this will be a tedious task. As you can see, winding per winding. Yeah, so you need to remove all of these until you get a thinner section of wire, and that's the section that the carriage can slide on. Now we got the wires stripped, the outer skin and the middle skin. I will clean up this wire, or this brush that the wire has, just some remaining brush. But now this thing should fit. There we go, perfectly into the carriage. And I think I did not remove enough, of course. Oh no, I didn't cut off enough. The old crimp connection was here where I cut it, and I only removed that section. So I didn't remove enough. I will have to remove the extra crimp connection here. Damn it. So I've exposed some extra of the inner wire. Now it should be long enough to fit the crimper in the front and the back. So all there is left to do now is make the actual crimpers. So what I didn't really find anything that would work. So I made my own. I got this 4mm aluminum tube, and then I just cut a section of it with the correct length, and then I drill a hole that's 2.5mm of diameter, and then I can slide it over the wire and I can crimp it with my actual wire crimpers. You can use these or put them in the vise and crimp them. It doesn't really matter that much. They just need to be tight on the wire, and they can't be too thick because it needs to fit in this channel where the wire runs through. So let's just cut these and drill some holes. So now I got two homemade crimpers. So slide it onto the cable. And then we crimp it. There we go. Nice and tight. That won't go anywhere, and it perfectly fits in the housing. And then the slider itself, I'll have to sneak at the other side. This part goes to the wire, so it should be like this. The excess of the wire pointing towards this piece, yes. And then the other crimper onto there. Oh. How did I think I did press this one in the vise, so I'll do the same again. Nice and snug. Yeah, I don't think that will go anywhere. Seems okay. So now we can reassemble the slider. If I remember correctly, this one goes in first. See. Like this. This one goes in first. So you have these slots here, and that should have, wait 1 second, that should take these two pins, and now you have all these sliders that are in line with each other. And if you hold it like this, you should be able to slide everything in the rail. So let's see. It's a bit of a hassle, but once it's in there, it slides in easily. There we go. Yes, another one. Yes. There you have it. It's in, I think. Still a bit rough, but that should get easier when I add the grease. Is this correct? No, I missed this one. This one has to go in the slides as well. Oh, fuck. So as a tip, as you just saw, maybe just do one side at a time, so you can look back to the other side and see how it should be together. Yes, so when you pull the cable, the roof goes up and then it slides backwards, and if you push the cable, it pushes it back closed. So that's how it should be. So we can now put this thing back in. So the camera died as I was installing it, but basically I've just greased every track, not too much because else it's a greasy mess. Don't forget to replace or remount this spring because it has a hard time coming back out of its closed position without the spring, because this thing just jams or whatever. It needs the spring. So now if I push the cable, of course it's with one hand, it's a bit tougher. Let's try it this way. So there we go. It closes, this latches, so the roof is actually closed and stays closed. And then when we pull it, it comes back up, slides back. So that's basically it for the slider mechanism. So now only that's left to do is to remount the wire tracks or the guides. I've cleaned them out before. I would just add a little bit of grease, not too much, just some basic lubrication. Then I can remount this, remount the motor and try it again. I'm going to hook up a 12-volt battery that I have and just hook it up straight to the motor. Hopefully it works. And so we can bench test this sunroof. So I'll be back in a little bit with this all back together. So I've got everything back together, right side, left side, the guide tubes, the motor is back in place. I will first try to move it with the drill. So also a little tip when installing, make sure the two sliders are in the same position. So I've put them completely at the front, or you can put them completely at the back, it doesn't really matter. So just that they're in the same position. There is a little hex bolt that drives the gear from the motor, and I'm going to try and activate it with the drill. Slow speed. Okay, this has a lot of torque. Yes, look at that. So I have this spare RC pack. It's actually a bit over 12 volt, it's 14.8, but it does work. It runs actually a bit faster. So I'm not going to hurt the engine too much by putting 14 volts in it. It seems to work, so I think it will work with 12 volt as well. So we're back in the car. The roof is in, just with these four nuts here. These are used to align the roof, but I can't complete that just yet because I need the actual roof panel, as you can see. But it moves. Perfect. So all that's left now is to wait for the painter and you can put everything back together. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I have helped you a little bit with this video, and hopefully you can now repair your own sunroof tracks. See you in the next one.